just as they did at Christmas, Poundland has just gone way over the top with LED lighting for summer, and it's really good stuff they're putting out. So I've taken a pick of the crop here, and we'll take a look at it. The first thing that I really like is these globe lamps. Now these are fairly standard Christmas lamps. You get about 5, well, Christmas all year round type lamps, the festoon type lamps. You get 5 globes for your pound and the battery pack, and this time they're using warm white LEDs. This is an interesting thing. They're doing 2 ranges of LEDs. Some of the items are available in warm glow or cool glow, so you can choose cold white or warm white, whichever you prefer. And these ones, the LED is fitted into these with a little rubber grommet here, and you can pull the LED through the grommet, and it means that you can put other sets into these if you wish to make a customized set, which is one of the biggest strengths of the Poundland lights. Everything is kind of interchangeable. And I would say, although these look very good, the lights recessed up to the back, because the globes do, oh, let me demonstrate. The globes do sort of glow, as you're seeing. The other option is to have the LED protruding down there, so it looks like a small filament, and just use a cable tie or something so it stays down roughly in that area. They're very good. I like these. And the partner set to this, the globe set, is the bottle set. And this is quite unusual. The bottle sets, all the ones I could find were cool white. I think they may just do it in the cool white. And you get 10 bottles. And they really are just plastic bottles. The string seems to be tied around them all and joins them all together. I suppose it's just a sort of look. But these things have the grommet again that you can pull the LED through. So you can put these bottles on any of the sets. And I don't really look at them so much as bottles, as just sort of cylindrical globes, shades for these lights, much like the round globes here. It's a good look. I like it. You know, these look quite nice. Don't take my word for it. Let's stick some batteries into these, and I'll show you what they look like. The table is being invaded in all directions by LED lights at the moment because there's just so much stuff. So let's turn that off, and you'll see it's a sort of fairly crisp, cool, bluish white light. Some people like that. Not my favourite, but having said that, very easy to adapt it to the warm white. And one of the ways you can adapt it to the warm white is with the strings that they're selling. So let's get these out of the way at the moment. And bring in the new wire lights. They're selling 2 meters of this, 20 LEDs in the wire in this form. So you get it wrapped round card with the battery pack at the back, and you can get this in warm glow or cool glow. And it's these little, it's that system where they have the 2 copper wires that are lacquered, and it's obviously been processed in a machine where they've sort of buffed, they've taken up to a point, buffed the insulation off the copper, soldered the LED on, and the end result is these tiny little dots of light. And these are very, very weather resilient. These are so waterproof because there's just nowhere for the water to get in. Everything is well insulated. I've been experimenting with this style of light out in the garden, and it's been 100% reliable. It's been very good. And this is the same type of thing that's used in the Firefly lights like this, where they've just got a small section coiled up. But I'll come back to this one afterwards, because this is a slight variation on the standard Firefly light. So you get your 2 meters, which is roughly, that's about 6.5 feet if you're working in imperial measurements. And it's very good. It's quite sharp. It looks very nice indeed. Ideal for sort of, well, they kind of show it shoved into jars, and that's what it would be quite good for, amongst other things. The partner to that is the Parasol lights. Now, the first Parasol lights that Poundland did were tungsten. And they basically, you get a set of about 10 of these little clips that go onto your garden umbrella. And then you get 20 tungsten lights. And the tungsten lights didn't last very long because they were quite power hungry. But then they swapped to LEDs, but initially they used cold LEDs. But now you've got the choice, again, of warm glow or cool glow. And it's a lovely warm colour. It's really nice. And this is the perfect sort of foundation for, you know, you could easily, if you wanted the bottles to be warm white instead, you could put one of the bottles on every second LED in this. Or if you were using the globes, you could put because you get 20 of these and 5 globes, every 4 LEDs you could put the globe over one LED and just make a string of sharp points of lights plus globes, just completely customizable. And to match this, we've got the classic sets that they've sort of had for the last couple of years. The rose covers, and all these covers are completely interchangeable again. You can pull them off, and these have a sort of captive rubber grommet going into them that you can get back out if you use enough force. But it means that, again, you can put these caps on anything, any of the standard strings in any colour. And the butterfly ones, not a huge fan of the butterfly ones, but I do like the colour, which is that bright magenta colour. That's that really bright pinky magenta glow. But all these caps, again, with this 20 set, you can just pull a cap off and you can shove it on there, and you can just mix and match to your heart's content to make a custom set of lights. So that's those covered. What do I want to look at now? Oh, I want to look at the bubble light. They've got a new style of bubble light. They had bubble lights before with the bubbled acrylic, but they were just single colour. This is a colour changing LED, and it's a longer section of the bubbled acrylic. You can tweak this, you can improve it. There's a couple of things you can do. If I pull this off here, the first improvement I'd suggest is the LED is not optimally aligned. This is a colour changing LED, and because colour changing LEDs have the LED chips offset to one side and the little electrode inside, they tend to project the light out an angle. It's a really good idea for best results to look dead down the end of it, straight down the end of this. You could possibly, for optimal results, you could probably put a section of this on just to actually focus your attention straight down. But if you look directly down and tweak the LED, you can adjust the angle of it until you're seeing all three of the LEDs dead on. And when you do that and you put it back in this, you'll notice that the amount of light fired down the acrylic is actually a lot brighter. It makes it look sharper and brighter. This will also benefit from the clear tape. You get a garden tape, an ultraviolet and weather resistant tape, and if you cut a section, just a piece of it, and then stick it over the solar cell here, well, let me demonstrate, let me do that in fact. It doesn't take long to do this, and it has such a profound effect on the reliability of many of these lights. So if I was just to cut a small section like that, and place it over the solar panel, give it a white first, place it over the solar panel, and then working out from the middle, sort of work to the sides, and then use a sharp knife, like this one, to just basically cut round that, any excess like that. Then that makes sure that water can't get down the side of the solar panel, because one of the biggest failure modes of these things is water finding its way down the edges of the solar panel, and it then wicks underneath it and causes corrosion on the solar panel itself, or the water drips into the light. So that's a very easy fix to make lights waterproof. So let's put this out the way again. Next light is going to be the glass one. Now they do two versions of this. They do one that suspends, it hangs and it's got a little hang hook, or they do the one with the spike in the bottom. And the one with the spike in the bottom just has a cold white LED in it. The one that suspends is the colour changing LED, and the effect of this is pretty good actually. Let's turn it on. It's a cold white LED. You could swap it for any colour of LED you wanted really, but it produces very good all-round illumination. You can see that the glass works really well, and it just makes it heavy, and it feels really good quality for the fact it is the glass. Again, that would benefit from the tape over the top to try and seal water from going down the side of the solar panel. Next is going to be, I'll put this down out of the way. Next is the twin set. You get pairs of these ones, and for the last few years, Poundland has been doing the pairs of solar lights, just little simple basic ones, but this is the first time they've done these translucent ones, and it does open up the possibility that if you were to actually put the LED pointing up the way in this, then theoretically, instead of having it just sort of lighting down, well, I suppose you could use two LEDs in parallel, you could make it so the whole top glows. I kind of prefer the top glowing to the actual base. I think I'd like to put a warm white LED in this so it sort of matches the colour, or maybe even a blue LED in the blue one, and just to have it as a sort of glowing puck. This is another one that would benefit greatly from the tape being put in the top and then just trimmed around the edge. Cheap lights, but very versatile, and they're worth buying, the pair of the lights, just purely for the circuit board and battery arrangement inside, because you can then retrofit this module into other damaged solar lights where either the circuit board's been corroded or the battery's failed. So the last light of this collection is going to be the Firefly. Now, I featured this last year when it came out, and I was a bit concerned about the fact it had this tiny little solar panel, and I didn't think that was going to absorb much light, for charging the cell. But I've had these operating all year, and even in winter, they were pretty good. But this one has one extra twist to it. If I open this up and turn it on, now, I should mention these things use the same sort of copper wire arrangement with the LEDs studded along. But in this instance, it's 3 different colours of LEDs. So if I'll turn the light off again, you can see this. It's got the red, the blue, the yellow and the green, and it's a really good effect. This looks superb outside in the tree. But these things do need some tweaking to make them weatherproof. The first big improvement is to put the bit of tape over the top again. That is just a huge single improvement. But I noticed water does kind of creep up through the threads and things like that, and you get condensation inside. That can be solved completely by drilling a small hole in the plastic right at the end to let any sort of moisture escape through that hole. And if water did get in any significant quantity, it would also get out. And that solved the condensation problem completely. There's another thing you can do in these that if I open this up, one of the oddities in this light is that they kind of wrap the, saying that, maybe they've not done it in this one, but in other ones they've wrapped the cell in, they've wrapped it in sort of what looks like masking tape, which to me is it's to stop, because the cell is loose, it's to stop it going down and shorting the circuit board. I think I'd rather actually wrap that in a sort of plastic tape as opposed to this, because I get the feeling that the paper tape, if moisture did get in, it could absorb water and sort of create a conductive path and accelerate corrosion in that area. But I've been using the sort of standard clear Captain tape. Ultimately, I suppose you could use a bit of this, again, the standard weatherproofing tape. But I like this multicolour approach. It's a really nice effect. And certainly over the last year since, the first ones I got of these were unreliable because water was getting in, but that clear tape in the top and the ventilation hole in the bottom solved all the problems. They've been super reliable since then. Apart from when the wind really ravages the trees, when it's really stormy, it thrashes the trees about, and it does actually throw these off. But you can actually get around that by using a bit of copper wire and just twisting it around the tops of these, and then using that, carefully twisting it without putting too much strain or pressure around the branches. But yeah, Poundland have excelled themselves once again. The 2017 collection of lights is just incredible. It's really, really good. It's a nice, wide, diverse range of stuff. It's good. It gets total thumbs up. It's very nice.